message and stuff, and you'll be entered to win a B2 Precious Cut. Like it's a giveaway based around you giving back, and I think it's absolutely phenomenal. You can get an entry just by being a good person, by donating something, and then at the end of the month is when they're going to be giving away a B2 Precious Cut. I think that is phenomenal. It gives you incentive to help out the community that you may be a part of and stuff like that, and then you may be winning one of the most elegant, beautiful, rare, amazing hookahs there are possible to get. Phenomenal.
I'd deceive you to actually name a hookah that's more aesthetically pleasing and high functioning than that.
No
I
way.
mean, there's plenty of people like who argue that like the matte pear has a better draw than a B2, and I've got my own opinion on that. But aesthetically, those Precious Cuts are absolutely obscene, and it's still a B2.
Mm-hmm.
So good on them.
One of the few hookahs that I think you can really say that the price is like worth what it is you're getting in a lot of ways. Like I mean, draw is always going to be preference based. So like you can get a good draw from whatever you like to draw and stuff from. But in general, those things are just phenomenal. And I know they're pricey, but they're beautiful. They really are. So I have a giveaway that we're going to do right here, and the way we're going to do this, and I hate some of you guys. I'm going to tell you right now, David Dewan, I don't know what you're trying to do to me, but I decided to do this thing on THL. And all you had to do was on THL answer the question that I posted onto the group, and if you answered it and then you're here live to listen to it, you're going to be able to win one of these Dawn Bowls, okay? That's pretty simple and easy. I was going to read all the comments to Adrian and say, hey, Adrian, which one of these comments do you think is the best? But I kid you not, Adrian, the comment that David Dewan wrote me is, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 paragraphs long. You want me to read this? I'm dyslexic. I can't see worth shit. And I can't do you. No, David, you are disqualified because you wrote too big of a response. Not cool, David. Why would you do that to me? It's a great comment. It really is fantastic. And if anybody's interested, take a look, read it. Honestly, I almost feel like we should give him the bowl because of how amazing this comment was. But I didn't want to give it to him. I wanted you to select one, and by selecting it would make them the winner. So sorry, David. Try to keep it a little more precise, concise, and me able to read it, all right? So let's go through this. Are you ready for this, Adrian? Okay, so the question is, what is the bowl you love to use and why? That's simple, very easy. See, David? Easy, simple. That's all I was looking for. I'm going to go ahead and read you some of these responses, and then I'm just going to have you select the one that you like, 2 of them that you like the most, and then we will send those 2 people a bowl of this Dawn Bowl. Solo is the one that it is. It's right here, thanks to THL and Sky Hookah Distribution. So the very first one is, I love mixing it up depending on what I am smoking. If I need a quick pack to get back into the game, I'll pick up a Dawn Bowl, Turkish or Dawn Evil, and I will do a quick fluff on foil. More indistinct packing where I want to take my time, I will pick up a Stone Bowl, which is one of the bowls, each one of my bowls has its own purpose. That's your first comment. Ready for the next one?
Okay.
Okay, so I still have my very first alpaca. It is a symphony black with a beautiful blue dripping on the top. It is my best bowl, not at all, or it is not my best bowl at all, but it is my first real bowl. It has battle scars from where I broke the bridge, but it is also the first one that I learned to pack. When I reach for a bowl and my hands always find her, I always smile and remember my first time when I fluffed Tangiers and almost died. I smoked it for 2 hours with great clouds, and most people are going to say that this bowl is because it's beautiful, or the bowl because it holds heat better, but mine is the one that I grew up with, and it's a good to smoke hookah with. All right. Here's the next one. Sorry I'm so dyslexic, by the way. Dawn Turkish for me. Easy pack, easy smoke. I like the Solo also. So he already has one, so maybe not that one. Okay, moving on to the next one. My favorite bowl to use is the Goodfella V3. It's my favorite because it was my first good bowl I bought after using cheap ceramic Chinese bowls and the regular Egyptian bowl. Yeah.
It sounds like my story with that bowl.
Well, I don't think this is you. I don't see your name on that one.
I'm trying to remember if I hacked anyone's account. Go on.
All right. Next one we got. To be honest, it's a toss-up between the medium alpaca and the Surrey Bowl. Hands down, capacity suits my needs, durability, and the clay. I've beat them to death, and they've never let me down. Love the mini rook I love the mini rook between smoking Tangiers, and even if it works wonders, holds the right amount and fits the Provost perfectly. I had numerous 80 feet. Oh, this is the next one. I have had numerous 80 feats since inception, and sadly they met an untimely death. Whenever Jen Hookah started stamping 80 feet in my favorite bowl, I have the dirty money, and it is the first stamp Jen bowl. Whether I want to smoke a blonde, dark leaf, it doesn't matter. Does an extremely good job. Can do a 90 minutes on Alpha Comma session and to do a unicorn 3-hour Tangier's one. I take extra good care of it. Of the bowl has caused to me and one of a kind. The 80 feet 80 resurrection bowls are awesome bowls, but personally they do not do it like my dirty money one. We have somebody that posted a picture, which I guess kind of counts, but not in this case because I can't really show the pictures off. Some videos, very nice. Lots of cool stuff you guys posted, but I needed the story behind it. Man, we got so many. I almost feel like we should just do a random giveaway to some of these people instead of me reading. Because do you remember any of these yet?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, moving on to the next one. Stone Bowl. Not only is it my compensation of the bowl extremely sturdy, but it also retains heat very well. It is aesthetically pleasing, and it can handle both blonde and dark leaf extremely well. And it is practically able to fit most, if not all, HMDs on the market. Brandon doesn't sacrifice quality over beauty. Obviously, referring to the maker of the wonderful stone bowls. Then the next one. My very first real bowl, my HJ Harmony. This thing has been my workhorse for nearly 2 years. It's easy to foil, takes every HMD that I've tried, and looks gorgeous. It makes me happy knowing that it's lasted all this time. Moving on to the next one. 80 feet 80 for Tangiers. The dense pack, low capacity, and the clay make it the perfect bowl for a hot, perfect Tangier session. Moving on to the next one. For everything else, it is the Crown Classic Micro. I have a glass setup, and nothing else beats glass on glass. Oh, man, that was loud. Jeez.
Glass on glass. I don't know about that.
Glass on glass. Nothing beats it. It's like that old Outcast song, so fresh and so clean. And then the very last one. I mainly use funnel bowls that I have 10 to 18 gram capacity with Tangier's dense packs. So small predators I mainly use for a Titan bowl from Brazil, combo with the Provost and with my sessions. So that's all of them. Let me see how many there were. There was
That's
one,
interesting.
two.
There's not a whole lot of bowls that are going to take a 10 to 12 dense pack.
5, 6, 7.
I have one,
8,
and it's custom made by Relics,
9,
and it's small.
10. We have 11. We have 11 total. Should I just do a random?
Here's the thing. I feel like I need to read David's because he definitely put some effort in, and we got the chat on Team David. I think we need to do I think I need to do, because I am not dyslexic, a live reading of David's comment. I need you to copy and paste it into Messenger right now.
Okay, hold on just a second. Hold on. Somebody's posting stuff all over. It's going crazy in my messages and stuff. All right, here we go. I love how he starts it out with, good question, Matt Dezen. Good. I like that. Just good question.
Also, while you're copy and pasting it, make sure you read Brad's, because he's saying you missed it.
Brad. I'm sorry if I missed it. I'm not seeing it pop up on mine. Maybe I need to refresh. Hold on, give me a second. Did you post it while we were live? That's a little. Oh well. Okay. Adrian, there's your name. I'm trying to get this sent to you right now. Here you go, man. It is.
All right, everybody.
It is big.
Okay. Here we go. Did you find Brad's?
Let me see. I'm going through them right now again. I'm not seeing Brad's come up on this.
Well, while you try to find it, David.
Oh, here we go. I just found it. Oh, there's a couple more. There's 3 more that I missed, actually. One of them said Mason Onyx because it's the best. Alpaca Apache because it works well on foil and HMDs. And then the one that I'm not telling you who it's from. I love my Bambino and my 80 feet 80. Perfect 1 round session, 2 coals, 13 to 15 grams of tobacco.
Mm-hmm. Ain't that the truth?
All right, are you going to do a live reading right now?
Yep. Okay. So just in case anyone's wondering how I'm committing these to memory, I've got my top 3. So as I listen, I decide right then whether or not it's going to make it. But here is David Dewan. Is that how you pronounce his last name?
I believe so.
David. I don't have a good David voice. Good question, Matt Deasend. Selecting a single favorite bowl is like selecting a single knife from a butcher block. Each knife has a purpose, and you would not fillet a fish with a meat cleaver. Though the chef's knife is the most used and most common, someone with passion in cooking or an extreme hobby of cooking would argue the need for other knives in their arsenal and merely get by with the most versatile knife if they had to. That adds up.
Makes
The
sense.
session, part 1. That being said, if one had to select a single bowl, I would apply the same logic as above. This would lead me to analyze what is the most common session I find myself smoking in. Hookah being a hobby and social event for me, I find myself smoking light flavors with my wife sharing a session. We are not cigarette smokers, nor do we vape. Most certainly, we do not chase nicotine. We do not chase nicotine. I don't know why I ended that in a question. We enjoy flavorful hookah with blonde tobacco. Typically smoking once a day in the evening and sharing a bowl together leads us to want a single, decently long session to share while we catch up on a show. That was part 1. I think that's very well worded, and I agree with that. When I have people over, I'm smoking a blonde because no one can handle Tangiers. My friends are all bitches. The shisha, part 2. For my wife and I, we explore different tobaccos and lean on blonde leaf more than dark. Though we will experiment, we find ourselves smoking 75% blonde leaf. We range anything from Azur, Alfaker, Alpha Gamma, Trifecta, and then an assortment of samplings. Classifying these as more of the budget tobaccos, price per gram is rather favorable. Thus, we are not too worried about the amount of tobacco we are using per session, and are more worried we are wasting any of the tobacco. That was part 2. The heat, part 3. For heat, we use Kingfire and Superior, or other coals we can buy in lounge cases. Good call. These are enough quality for us, keeping a true clean cocoa coal, yet again helping with making the hobby economic probably is the word you're looking for, and allowing us to focus less on counting every coal we use. Heat management device, our Provost, also ensures we get the most out of our coal and keeps consistency in the session. That's well worded, mostly. The hookah, part 4. I wish I had music. As mentioned before, don't put on music, Matt. We enjoy the hobby of smoking and do not smoke for anything other than flavor. We do not want our hobby to feel like a chore or require much effort to enjoy. Thus, we go for a more open draw and chose the matte pear simple. This draw allows us to enjoy the session by practically breathing naturally and not taking deep inhales. Boom. The verdict, part 5 and the finale. This is a long one, ladies and gentlemen. Bowl selection. All that being said, the bowl for us that covers the most common session we encounter is the Alpaca Goodfella bowl. This already hit my top 3. Basically, anytime the Goodfella popped in, I marked it because that was my first bowl too that I got to work properly. This bowl is, and I hope this is a version 3. Let me know if it is, David. This bowl is designed very well from a quality point of view with great glaze and great quality clay. The thickness of the bowl feels as if it holds heat well enough for us to keep our session consistent while we enjoy others' company. We do not worry too much about heat management, coals, HMD, etc., and let time pass by together. The bowl itself is decently deep, allowing for 15 to 25 grams of tobacco and at a very strong fluff pack or semi-dense pack. The amount of tobacco and packing method enables a session that is long enough to not want another bowl and short enough to burn through it all in one session. This wouldn't be recommended for a dense pack, but again, that is not our most common session, so we are very happy to forego the use case. The Vortex/Spire is very open, almost the size of a nickel wide, something like that, and keeps with the notion we want an open session. We do not want to put effort into just trying to get flavor out, nor restrict the hookah, which by far is the biggest investment financially in our hobby. The Goodfella is our chef's knife, and though we would need, the callback, and though we would need to lean on other bowls to get multiple hour sessions of dark leaf, we do not find ourselves needing the unique design required to achieve that. The Goodfella bowl is our choice for a favorite bowl. There were some wording errors.
Oh my goodness.
But that was a long post, so that's to be expected. I'm not expecting them to do a spell check for that novel. This is a hard one. Because I can't just give it to David based on wording and length. But
it's also very informative.
A lot of good
points.
Yes,
he does. I mean, that was a very, very well. Everything in there was completely perfect in the sense of what he was aiming for, what he was going for. The callback.
It was very cohesive. I understand exactly all 5 points that he made.
Mm-hmm. So what are we going to do?
So it's between him,
okay,
and the very first Goodfella user.
Okay.
Speaking on using the Goodfella after using crappy Chinese ceramic bowls and edgy bowls. And between those two, I got to go Team David Dewan because it resonates with me. All of that makes sense, and I make selections based off of the same Same reasons, I guess, is the best thing that comes to mind. There was like this big word I was thinking of, but I'm not smart.
Okay, so the very first one is gonna. So David Dewan, you won it, and then the other one that you liked was the very first one that talked about the Goodfellow. That correct? So that was actually Michael. He says my first bowl used was the Goodfellow V3. It's my favorite bowl because it's the first good bowl that I bought after using cheap ceramic Chinese bowls and the regular Egyptian ones. So it looks like Michael is so David I already know is in the chat, so that's fine.
Derek Moses is saying he didn't read his either.
Well, because you didn't have one. You had pictures, Derek. He says because some things can be imitated but never duplicated, and then it's a bunch of pictures of stone bowls, which I completely agree, but I needed you to put that into writing because you don't say a bowl inside of your written part. You just have a picture of the stone bowls, which is a very good thing. Don't get me wrong. I appreciate it completely. But at the same time, I can't use it because you didn't mention a bowl name, if you know what I'm talking about. David won. Is Michael here?
Not with his rules.
Is Michael here? Is Michael here?
Oppression.
If Michael is here, then we can get him the bowl. If he's not here, then we have to move on to somebody else, and you'll have to select a different one. Matt, I am Mark.
Hold on. You know I said David, right?
Yeah, David. Yeah, there's two. We have two to give away.
Oh, there's two. Yeah, second place is the other Goodfellow Bowl.
Oh,
play to your audience.
Hookah Fiend. Hookah Fiend is Michael Martinez in THL. Congratulations, Hookah Fiend. You are the winner. And David Dewan, can we please get a hashtag David and a hashtag Fiend? Hashtag David, hashtag Fiend. You guys are the winners. Congratulations. I hope you guys enjoy it. I'll get the information from you guys on Facebooks, and I will be sending you the Don Bull solo. Thank you.
All right.
THL,
then
thank
I'm going
you.
to breathe a sigh of relief. We're done giving away shit for free.
Yes, I think so. I think we're all the way done for a very long time. This was a blast and a great time, obviously. Oh, we've almost hit the 35 like goal. If you guys want to do that, I'd appreciate it as well. Congratulations. You guys are absolutely fantastic. Oh, my gosh. That took up a whole amount of time, but it was fun. It was
I had to read a book real quick.
Didn't know you were going to be doing that, did you? Did you?
Some of his wording I could tell, because if you read it in your mind, it makes perfect sense. But when you read it out loud, some of the words weren't. He did not use plural where he should have, and then vice versa.
You gonna go all teacher? You gonna go all teacher on him right now?
No, it was hard to read it because of that.
All right, so let's get into our topic of the show, which is going to be a year in review. The year in review is going to go over 2018. We're going to have some fun with this. Obviously, I'm going to bring up some different topics that we can talk about. We're going to start with bowls, actually. One of the very first bowls that I actually thought about that came out this year at the start of it was the Goodfellow V4, the shallow and the regular one. I thought those were pretty interesting bowls. I know that I have the first edition, the 4.0. You have the 4.5 as well. What did you think about these bowls when they hit the market?
Are we talking about Goodfellas?
Goodfellas, V4 and 4.5.
The V3 was probably one of the better bowls ever made in hookah history. The dimensions were perfect. It was like the every bowl. You could get anything to smoke out of it. It was just small enough where you could smoke Tangiers if you were able to sit down for 4 hours and finish the bowl. But it was just big enough where you could fluff pack anything into it. So the V4 missed the mark on that. The V4 had the spire was recessed. It had too much capacity, and the dimensions were just all wrong. The glazes weren't very good either for the multicolored glazes. The 4.5, on the other hand, does a much better job of replicating what the Goodfella is all about, which is an every bowl. Like, you can pack anything into it. And I really like both of those bowls. I'm excited. Now, when I say both of them, I mean the 3 and the 4. Don't pick 3 and the 4.5. Don't pick up the 4. I think it's not a good bowl. But I hope those were the thoughts you were looking for. I just saw that Dr. Noob Sauce is actually streaming this on his channel.
Oh, my goodness. Thank you, Dr. Noob Sauce. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. Copyright infringement, you'll be hearing from our lawyers. Anyways, so I never tried the V3 from the Goodfella, obviously. It was something that I just never got a hold of for whatever reason. But I got the V4, and I know that it's the deeper representation of the bowls. But I love it for my blonde leaves, and especially for mixing dark leaves. Not using a pure dark leaf that I'm going to waste a bunch of tobacco with. But when it comes to mixing it, either with a blonde leaf or anything else like that, I really do enjoy it quite a bit. I think it's pretty nice for those types of things.
I just realized my mic was off the whole time. Anyone
well
watching, head over to AM Hookah Podcast, watch them live on their channel. I am just rebroadcasting to spread the sport to the masses, to give them a little bit more love, a little bit more likes, views.
So we did see
if
that
you want the
from
link,
Hookah
I'll
John,
send you the
awesome
link.
product.
You can head over.
I think we've seen more bowls than that, though, right?
What up,
yes,
hookahologists?
Bowls that we still have to talk
I heard
about.
good things
Mason
about you.
Came out with 2 bowls
a lot of
this
people
year. They came out with the Helix
like
bowl,
what you're
which
doing.
everybody went
You have a
gaga
lot of
over
people
because
in your
it's a pretty
corner,
cool
by the
bowl.
way.
It looks
Just to
beautiful,
give you a
and lot of
heads up.
people really enjoyed it. One of the bowls
Tommy,
that I really
right?
wanted
I
to
know your
get,
name
just
is
haven't
Tommy.
got my hands on it yet.
You've been
the
the topic of
Onyx
some
as well
conversations.
with a
We
little
appreciate
bit of controversy in the beginning,
new people
but I feel
reviewing
like
stuff.
things
I
have
want to see
died
more
down.
of your
People are
videos.
starting
Make
to
it
really
happen.
enjoy that
Do
bowl,
it.
both aesthetically reasons
Do it.
and then smoking it as well. I think there was a little bit of controversy that came out about those bowls. What was your favorite bowl that came out in 2018? Chat, if you guys would answer that, I'd really appreciate it. And then I think we need to spend just a little bit of time talking about the biggest bowl, in my opinion, that came out in 2018. That was the Relics Ring Bowl.
The Relics
Adrian,
Ring,
how
yes.
much do you like this bowl?
The Relics Ring, the bowl that no one can get their hands on.
He says,
because it's impossible.
Love the V4 bowl. Works great. Not too sure about the V4.5.
Tough.
Actually,
I want to get my hands on the bowl. I have I have a lifeline straight to Brandon George and Kyle Smith, and it's hard for me to get my hands on some of these bowls.
But
it's tough,
I think you're right. The V4 is probably great for a smoker like you if you're primarily a blonde smoker. The Relics Ring. This is an outstanding bowl.
Yes.
Unfortunately, there was a blunder with the release. So some people who should probably have it don't. Which is unfortunate.
They're going to talk about
the Relics Ring. Is there anything to say that we already haven't said ad nauseum at this point? It's just one of the best bowls released.
I completely agree.
It already is right up there with Stone Bowls and Mason Bowls in terms of just raw premium quality and performance.
Yes, it really is. The only thing that I think that can be said about it that's been said before but still needs to be said again is that I can't wait for more people to get their hands on it.
I'm going to egg them on a little bit.
To be had about
talking about
it looks like THL is doing some pretty cool
hookah
things.
Heroes.
Allowing some group buys.
Look at Adrian's face. Adrian's thinking about it.
Gone through in THL, which is absolutely phenomenal.
I put the thought in Adrian's head now.
Next year when he gets started with that, Kyle Smith obviously, it's going to be really
Go ahead.
cool. Dr. Noobsauce wants to talk about hookah villains. I don't know if
I think we should. I think we should talk about Ron.
It happened in 2018.
We didn't get into, but this is probably one of the most important pieces of news, just as a warning to people.
I stirred the pot.
Real quick, Noobsauce is saying do it. If everyone in this chat is privy, we don't need to talk about it ad nauseum. But real quick, just let me know if you want to talk about this.
Stir it.
We can dedicate a little bit of time
Stir that fucking pot.
Because we're not going to be taking callers today because of a time constraint, unfortunately.
Stir it.
But we are going to be expanding the length of the podcast.
Kenneth.
Is that what we decided on, Matt? I believe it is.
Yeah, for season 3.
Captain Wetbeard, I fucking did it.
Yeah, we're going to be the normal show length plus time after for calls and giveaway spins. If we happen to have,
I'm gonna have to call them.
Normally, we don't have a giveaway every week. This has been kind of an insane month.
Yes, it has for sure. I'd be more than willing to talk about some Hookah Hero stuff. I spoke about it a little bit on my last Gamecast that I did, just because it was when the news first broke that the money that was promised to Kyle Smith for the Relics
I had to do it.
Was never delivered.
I had to throw a little bit of shade.
He spoke multiple times to try to give him time, to be patient with him, and it still never happened. Lots of people are saying talk about it, so I think we should go ahead and say at least a little bit of peace. Obviously, like Adrian said, this is the biggest news thing that probably happened in 2018. We had a vendor that was a pretty much well-respected vendor for a very long time. Some people had issues with him, but I don't think any more issues than what you normally expect from getting most vendors type stuff. Until finally, the shit hit the fan. Excuse my French, but honestly, that's exactly what happened.
Because you know, Matt never curses. He is very Christian with his language.
Been a lot of
unlike my
that
shows
went
where I
around
curse
saying that he didn't actually
just to
have
get
the product
words
on
together.
the shelf that he said that he did, and he was buying it as he was selling it, which caused a lot of issues and problems. Then he was shut down through Shopify for multiple reasons. He blamed many reasons. He blamed Shopify one of the times. He blamed the ability to get it through what was it called coding. He said that he tried to code
I just flamed the whole chat.
Everything that he said just continually got
Shopify
to be
is one of the largest pieces of software that any business uses. We're talking big $1 million businesses use this regularly.
At the same time,
and, like 5-star uses this, for instance, and people have opinions about 5-star, but your order eventually gets to you at 5-star.
Yeah.
The thing with Shopify and other vendors online, if you look at what happened to Heavenly for a while back, anything that could be considered tobacco or even tobacco paraphernalia, they started phasing out of their vendor list. So a lot of people got screwed over and they had to change over. So I think that's Slade. Slade is a credit card. I think it's Visa's transaction system. They dropped Heavenly because they were selling tobacco products, even though they're not selling tobacco products, because if anyone knows anything about Heaven Leaf, it's a non-tobacco product. So they were a victim of these online um, transaction vendors who said, we don't want anything to do with tobacco. We don't want anything to do with companies that sell tobacco, even though they weren't selling tobacco. They were selling tea leaves that we use in our shisha. So they got abused by it as well. So it is tough with these online vendors. So with that said, I don't know what Ron ran into, what problems he ran into that. I have to take him at his word because I am not a vendor. I do not sell stuff on Shopify, so I don't know their issues or their transaction. What do you call it? Like their contracts they have. What are the do's and don'ts? So I would have to take Ron's word for that.
But I'm not supposed to. I shouldn't say exactly what went on because that's for Kyle to say if he wants to. But it's bullshit.
Yeah,
it's complete and total bullshit.
And then when
and
it comes...
Ron,
Yeah, one of the things that I did not like that I found out is that Ron was working very closely with Kyle. Kyle went out of his way to give Hookah Heroes a little bit of shine because being a private vendor, you don't necessarily have to use any of these hookah websites. You can sell stuff on your own. And if Brandon George, Kyle Smith, Derek Moses are any indication, you don't need a big vendor to give you notoriety. I mean, obviously having something on Hookah John's website will boost it, but the thing is that if you have a limited run or you can't make enough of the stuff as it is, just keep selling it when you can make it. Don't link up with any of these vendors. You're better off just having full control, something like Mason, where they have full marketing control, full control of when they have to make it, when they release it, full control of the inventory. Also, how their stuff is marketed is a big thing for a lot of people creating products. So, I think, Kyle went out of his way to help out Ron, and I'm under the impression that if I'm selling a product to, if you people are a vendor and a big vendor and you have a big reach, and I sell it, I say, okay, let's go into a contract and I will sell my product in a batch release on your site. I'm assuming that you're paying for said products at a little bit of discount. So say I sell it on my own site for, say I'm making a bowl, and the bowl is like $20. This is what I usually sell it to people on my end. And I sell the site because they can reach out to more people and they can market it to a larger audience than I would be able to do it on my own. I would say, okay, so instead of selling it to you at at face value cost, which would be $20, I would give it to you at $15 a bowl. So there is a $5 markup that you can make for profit. You would pay me $15 a bowl, and once you get them and you put them on your site, I already got my cut from the money of the bowls I sold to you. But in Kyle Smith's case, he gave it to Ron, and Ron never gave him the cash for the bowls, even though the bowls, we all know that they sold out in like freaking a half hour. So he knows right away that first day everything was already sold out. So that first day Ron should have been sending money over to Kyle being like, hey, listen, if I didn't pay you for the bowls up front, I know they sold. Here's your money, because I have a list of transactions saying that all the bowls sold. And it's been like, what, 1 or 2 months after the fact, he still hasn't got his money. That's shady as hell. I would be really pissed off.
Infuriates and makes a lot of anger, and it should, because the simple fact that part of the problem with this whole entire thing is the fact that we have people, members of the community, that are literally trying to help this hobby of ours grow and become a larger, better entity than it already is. And then we have somebody that's hurting it by doing things like this. I do not think that he'll be welcomed back in the communities. I don't think that he would ever be able to get back to any sort of stature of any kind. He would have to stay far away. And then, sadly, the only people that he's going to be able to prey on are the people that don't know any better. And it's up to us to educate those types of people and make sure they understand there's better people, better selections, and better things that are out there that are not going to hurt at the end of the day.
I mean,
Captain Wetbeard just said something.
I can't disagree with Matt.
Matt's
not the type of guy who will take vengeance on someone, but Kyle Smith is his friend,
merchant card
So
processor, so
he
chargebacks
does.
are never a good
He has to
thing.
go into a
And
little bit
because
of a
he has no
defensive
money
mode.
to give anyways, all it's going to do is sit in limbo until finally a civil suit is filed, which is more hoops for somebody else to jump through. So honestly, it's just sad, pathetic, and a lot of other horrible things that can be said that Derek's doing a great job in the comments of saying right now. Boy, am I glad that I turned off the chat bot to spam people. So anyways, let's move on. Get out of this a little bit. We're running a little bit close to the end of the show and stuff, and I wanted to talk about a couple other things that happened this year in the beautiful year of 2018. Make sure you drop a like on the video as well. We almost hit 35 likes for the Captain Wetbeard like goal, and I'd really love it if we were able to do that on this episode. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about something big that happened in 2018 that wasn't horrible. It was actually a wonderful, beautiful thing. The Hookah Worldwide Expo in beautiful Las Vegas, where I got to meet
The expo
so
was a
many
lot of
awesome
fun.
people. It was
A lot of
fantastic.
us
It's
made
where
it out there.
my
It was a good
wonderful,
time.
friendship started with David Dewan. Other than the show, obviously, he was the only reason why I was able to stay alive one night, and you know what I'm talking about. David and so many other people, meeting Dr. Noob Sauce for the first time, Jeremy and Travis, obviously. Hookah Frank for the very first time in person
funny
was absolutely
that,
fantastic. Paul and Bracken and Eddie, my wonderful roommates, hanging out with Doug for such a long time. Even Tam from Superior Cocoa. He is a
It's
animated,
funny because Matt and Adrian have never been at the same meetup or expo at the same time. So it's weird. You always have to meet them one at a time. So hopefully this year in Vegas they both show up and they're both there together, which would be real nice because I don't have a picture with them both together. It's crazy.
absolutely fantastic. And Adrian, I'm still so sad that you did not make it to the expo. Obviously, lots and lots have been said about the expo for a very long time. Stefan meeting him, but you did something very cool in 2018 as well.
2019, baby.
Yeah, you better. I'm going to kidnap you if you don't.
It's gonna be stellar.
Also, there was also a couple other cool things that happened in 2018 when it came to the world of meetups. You did two of them, actually, both
is that
in
Alligator?
Chicago. Let's hear about
Indeed.
those a little bit.
Oh man.
Okay, so Nino from over at Mason Shishaware runs this little get together in Chicago called the Chicago Hookah Meetup, and so far it's got a track record. I think it happens biannually at this point. And the first one was awesome. It was the
It
first
does
time I
happen
ever got
more
to meet
often,
Chris
but it doesn't.
in person. I got to meet Christian Lauber. A lot of people. I'm not going to try to name them all. because
We only go
everyone was
twice
there.
a year, if
We were
that.
all
We
in
might
this
only go start
studio,
doing once a
this
year.
like hair studio that I think belongs to Nino's sister or something. And the place was clam baked, and it was just awesome. We were out there for one night. I drove out that day, drove back the same day because Michigan, I can get away with that, and it was awesome. Just like a really good 8 hours. And then I liked it so much that later that year, actually just a couple months ago, I went back out again, but this time I got an Airbnb with, Travis, Jeremy, Chris.
The frat
I
house?
can't really say, yeah, audio was there.
If anyone's watching, please head over to AM Hookah Podcast. You can watch it on their channel. I'm just live streaming it here to put more awareness on this podcast that happens every Monday around 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, somewhere around there. Subscribe to the channel, hit the notification button so you will get the notifications of when they're about to go live. They have new guests on every other week or every week. They're in their second season now. They're going into the third season of this AM Hookah Podcast show that they do every single week without a miss. It's an awesome show. Check it out. I'm going to put the link in the chat here, and make sure you head over and give them a like and, get in their chat and learn a little bit of what they're about.
Enjoyed many flavors for the very first time with them, which was fantastic and awesome, obviously. And then also from THL, Frank from THL is actually planning to do a meetup in New York, which would be super cool. I'd love to be able to make that. I'm already trying to figure out the logistics of it to see if I can do it.
Same.
It would be fantastic. Me and Brandon George, because he actually lives in Utah, which is about a 3-hour drive from me, we're talking about trying to get a meetup going on over on this side of the coast as well. We're going to see what we can do. It'd be fantastic if we could, obviously. Still working out details and everything, but it'd be fantastic. Diamond says, really hate that I didn't make it to the expo last year. That's okay, Diamond. You can make it to the next one. Don't even worry about it. It's just so many fantastic things happened at the expo. The ability to sit down and talk with people that you've been conversing with for so many years for a lot of people on the different groups on Facebook and stuff like that. To sit down and smoke and talk is just a phenomenal thing that you just don't get to experience in any other way. It seems like a lot to try and make it to one of these meetups. It really does. Like, especially if it's like far away and stuff like that. I was lucky. Vegas is 8 hours away from me. Adrian's lucky. Chicago is 5 hours away from him. It's not this huge gap of distance you have to travel. But
Yeah,
at the
we
same
can
time,
drive.
Exactly.
which makes it easier. Flying places turns out is expensive.
Yes.
Yeah, flying is very
which is-
If I
expensive.
can recommend flying one place in all of 2019, I'd take a plane right over to Las Vegas because we are gonna get stupid, like really stupid. like I'm not gonna film anything, which is weird because I normally film.
No,
something
there is no
everywhere I
filming
go.
in the frat
Let's
house.
put it this way: for next week's episode, which is going to be the grand finale of season 2, you're going to get a sneak peek of just how crazy Adrian can get. 'Cause we're going to be doing another alcohola destruction. We're going to be drinking alcohol. We're going to be drinking alcohol, and listen to this idea that Adrian's the one that brought up. By the way, this is all Adrian's idea. We're going to be using the light goal as a shot goal. We're going to be using the light goal next week as a shot goal. So if you hit the light goal, we're going to be taking shots. We're going to be getting stupid. If you saw the very first time that we did the alcohola cost, you're going to know exactly what we're talking about. It was crazy. It was fun. But we're going to be doing it again. Light goals are going to be shot goals. It's going to be...
Make sure to bring your people because we're not going to start... Because if I have to take 7 shots, I'm not about to give you guys 7 shots for 35 fucking likes. Like... Tell some people.
Yes.
Open up multiple accounts. Watch the podcast. I think we're gonna have to start it at like 30, and go every 5 after that. That way we probably cap
every
ourselves
5.
at
No,
5,
I'm
6
gonna
shots,
talk to them.
and I
They're
can
taking
still
one every like
function for the rest of the night.
after
I have
20
a family
likes.
I got to get back to, so I can't be too
every
stupid.
like
Yeah.
they're taking a shot.
guarantee-
Captain Wetbeard, listen to Captain Wetbeard. Also bring your own. You can play with us,
Please,
and then
do.
we'll do call-ins.
Oh my gosh, yes. It's going to be basically an entire call-in episode. We're going to do what we did last time for our end of the season, where we're going to have lots of people come on and stuff like that. It's going to be a fantastic blast. But yeah, be ready for that. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be stupid. We're going to have a ton of fun. Let's keep talking about some fun stuff that happened in 2018, though. What do we want to talk about? You want to talk about tobacco, coals, or hookahs? What do you want to talk about from 2018?
Let's talk about tobacco.
Tobacco? Okay.
Because that's actually the coolest thing
So
in hookah.
I have just a couple brands of tobacco that I have written down, basically, and we'll touch on whatever it is you want to touch on. We can talk about Azor, because I feel like Azor really came into its own this year. I know that it was around at the end of last year.
You can
and
move
stuff
back
like
a little
that,
bit
but it
if
really,
you want.
really,
You have plenty
really
of
got
space.
into its own this year with just how much stuff they were producing, how they were really, really pushing the stuff in such a large way, and then things like the cigar that came out and stuff like that. Like there's just so many phenomenal things. What was your favorite thing about Azor in 2018?
All right, Azor has I remember Azor first coming out, and okay, so I had some experience with their dark and their blonde line, which are both very good lines. They've really fixed the dark line, or I've gotten more used to it, but they're both phenomenal. Some flavors that stood out to me that weren't necessarily released. Was all the Azur released this year? Matthew, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you just fine. What's up?
The Azur, that started last year, correct?
Yeah, it started last year.
So I don't know of any flavors that got released other than Azur cigar, which is phenomenal. For the 15 of you or however many that were sent out, enjoy it. Let us know how you liked it. But Carolina Peach, Lemon Muffin, Unicorn. There's so many stellar flavors that came out with Azur that they are starting to become, I think, a staple in the community. People talk about Azur as commonly as people talk about Trifecta now, which is like a big deal because Trifecta is one of the best brands you can buy.
Yes.
So I'm very excited to see what we have coming on from Azur. Alpha Gamma was the Midnight line not released this year?
It wasn't, sadly, and it's gonna be
It
out.
wasn't?
It's gonna come out at the beginning of next year. Talk to Badia a little bit. It
It's
should be
trash.
out at the beginning.
It's
I
trash.
know.
It needs to be out.
I know.
It's so good.
I know.
Like people need to experience Alpha Gamma Midnight because it's one of the truest dark leaf tobaccos you'll ever smoke. For many of you probably already know that Tangiers isn't a true dark leaf. We'll probably do a show on that at some point, talking about maybe myths in the hookah industry that you thought were true but aren't, or something like that. But Tangiers is not a dark leaf. So you got like Trifecta dark leaf, you've got Azur's dark leaf, and then Midnight's dark leaf is it's the closest thing to Azur cigar in terms of
Tobacco.
density of nicotine and just real tobacco. It's very good.
Yeah, it's absolutely phenomenal. I'm sad that it didn't make its way this year, sadly, just for whatever reason and stuff. There was also a couple lowlights I thought we'd touch on, too. I thought Hayes' comeback, or attempt to have a comeback, did not go over as swimmingly as possible. I tried 3 of their flavors, the Cotton Clouds, the Beat the Heat, and the BOF, or whatever it's called. Not stellar stuff, in my opinion. It goes to show you that having a name in the community is not quite enough. I know some people like certain flavors. I thought Beat the Heat was okay, for instance. The rest of them, not so much. What did you think about the attempt to come back from Hayes this year?
I'm not going to speculate too much on like the move to Spain leaves a sour taste in my mouth. I understand there's probably a cheaper cost of operation over there, and that's great and everything. But I'm also, you know, I'm all for. I'm in America. I like American businesses. I also like Russian businesses. Don't get me wrong. I love imports. But the move didn't make sense to me. And then when you're in this community that's still growing but still very small, if you remove yourself from whatever little spot in the market you're taking up, that spot's going to get taken up pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And when you try to come back with 3 subpar flavors, that's just not a good way to do it. Like none of those flavors really hit the mark for me at all.
And for instance, there was
I think the lime one was the best one.
Yeah, the Beat the Heat I think was definitely the best one out of the ones that I tried for sure. But you know, there are companies that came back and did do a really good job. Speaking of Ugly in 2018, right? Like I think they won back a lot of their sadness that happened over the last little while, because they were able to come back and redo their flavors and really show the community, hey, we do love doing this and we want to keep pushing that stuff to you guys. What did you think of Ugly's comeback in 2018?
Jim Zaida, great guy. Really cares about his product. Really listens to the community. I think he's got some movement to make still. I wouldn't say that a lot of people are really buying the product, and they probably should be, because his batches have been phenomenal lately. There are 2 new awesome flavors. You've got the Hookah Rush Triforce, which I had talked to Christian about. I think I'm going to go down and have a session with Christian pretty soon, actually.
That'd be awesome.
And because he's like a 4-hour drive away too. And then there's another one. It's actually Mango Lemonade, which is phenomenal. It's just incredible. And I really hope that Jim pushes this next year. I really hope to see more.
All right, guys, I'm gonna close this out. I'll put the link down below. Everyone, go check them out.
Not washing the tobacco,
you
which I think is a very good
watch it, have a good time. I know they're almost wrapping up, but I am gonna get out of here. Go play some games.
We're running close to what we need to do for the end of the show, but I want to talk about.
With purple people passing me the caterpillar's chalice. You're probably thinking I'm wrong, right? Like I should quit writing these songs, right? Tell you what, do it better, I just might. Take it back to '86, you wanna lick side. Don't let the